Welcome to the last lecture of our course Programming in C. In the last few days, we were discussing about use of files in programming. We saw that when a programmer wants to store data permanently on a computer, then she or he has to use files for permanent data storage. We have seen various operations that a programmer can do on files using a C program. And today also we are going to see two more operations on data files which are very helpful when you want to maintain records on the secondary storage of the computer. So, with two more powerful operations on operating files, we shall wind up this course. And the topic for today is unformatted operations on data files. And what are unformatted? That we will see when we proceed with this lecture. So, this is what we know about the sequence of operations to process an existing file. If you have a file I existing in the secondary storage, you can first open it, then you do any operations using a program on that file, and finally you have to close it. From all these functions, we have already seen, except these two functions, we have seen all the other functions displayed on this screen. And today we are going to see these two functions which are really powerful. You can see why they are powerful. We can start with fwrite, which is a function to write a group of data into a file. We can try to understand what is fwrite doing with an illustrative example. So, this is the same student structure that we have seen in previous lectures. So, there is a student data type defined with a roll number, name and date of birth as fields. And note that the date of birth is again a structure which includes the day, month and year. I hope you remember this data structure. And now let us see what is this program doing. We can try to understand each statement what it is doing. First, we are creating a file handle. You know from the previous lectures what is this doing. And after that, what I do is I create an array of two students. This is for us to understand what this function can do. I am just taking only two elements in my array. You can take any number of elements. And you know that by this statement you can create an array of two students. So, if you want to see how it looks like, maybe the first index you will have this first student's roll number, then name and date of birth. Similarly for the second student. And the next statement is an fopen statement. So, you are going to actually create a file. It's called filex. And you are opening it in the W mode, which is write only mode. So, you are going to actually create a new file. So, if you execute that, you know that you will get a file created like this. And when you proceed, next is actually statement to read number. So, this message will be displayed on the screen. And suppose the user gives 2 as input. So, after performing these two, you will get the value 2 stored in the variable n. And now the next statement is this: you are going to initialize the variable I to 0. If you execute, you will get 0 in the variable I, and you are coming to this loop. Now you are checking whether the value of I, which is 0, is less than n, which is 2. 0 is less than 2. So this check succeeds and you are getting down to the loop. So here you are reading the details of a student. For that I am passing the address of the first student in the array, address of the first element. This is exactly the same function that we discussed in the last lecture. So I am not going to explain that again. You note that you are passing the address. This function is catching it in a pointer variable, and it fills that particular structure variable. And assume that now the user is giving these as the details for the first student. Okay. Then it comes to this increment. So I is now 0, it will be incremented to 1. After that it goes back, again checking I, which is 1 is less than n, which is 2. 1 is less than 2. The check succeeds and again getting into the loop. It is reading the next student. Suppose that this is what the user gives as input. And if you are not able to remember what this function is, please go back to our previous lecture and see what this function is doing and how is it doing it. And it gets down to the increment. Now the value of I is 1. It will get incremented to 2. Yeah. Going back, the check is I less than 2. Now I is not less than n. Both are same. So the check fails, and hence the control gets out of the loop. It's coming to this statement, and that is the topic for today, fwrite. So what is this? It's a function which can be used to write an array of elements of any type. Here student type, it could be any type, array of integers, array of students, array of points in two-dimensional plane, or whatever. You can write an array of element as a single entity to the file. And note that there are 4 arguments, and later after discussing this example we can formalize the syntax for this. Now please don't worry about it. You have to pass the starting address of the array and the number of elements, okay, and some other things are there. And if you write, if you execute, you will get the entire array written onto the file. Okay, I have just used some Malayalam font. Okay, and what I mean is that if you open this file using a file processing application like Microsoft Word or gedit, you will see some weird characters. You cannot actually see like this, and that is these are what are called unformatted files. Only by using a C program you can retrieve it later. Okay, so now you can just write the entire array using a single statement, and that is the power of this function. And now you coming to the last statement, which is fclose. If you close it, you are closing the file and it is residing in the memory. Okay, it should be file x, sorry for the typo. And so that is the example programs. And now let us try to formally look at what the syntax is for using the fwrite function. So this is the syntax. First one is the function name, followed by the starting address of that group of data. If it is an array, then the starting address of the array name. Then you have to say what is the size of each element in that array, what is the size of a single student data structure. Okay, you can use the size of operator for that, followed by the number of students. In the previous example, 2. How many student structures should be returned, and finally to which file, represented by the file handle. Okay, not difficult to remember. the address of the array, size of each element in the array, number of elements in the array to be returned, and to which file you have to write it. So that is the syntax. And now we are going to see the function which can be used to read such a file into an array. That's what we are going to see now. And the function is fread, and you can look at an example. Here is a function fread, which is used to read a group of data from a file. And here in this example, we are going to read that file which we created into this array. That's what we are going to see. Exactly the same data structure, and we are creating a file handle. After that, we are declaring an array of 2 students. So you will get this kind of a structure created, array with 2 elements. This should be S1. Sorry for this typo. This must be S at index 1. Even in the previous slides, I think this mistake is there. I will correct it and send you the slides. Sorry for this mistake. It must be S at 1. So you are getting a structure, and not that because it's an automatic array, we don't know about the values of it. That is why everywhere we have question mark, any value, because we have not given any value to that structure or any field of that structure. Moving down to the next, which is an fopen. Not that now the file X is taken, opened for your program in the read only mode. Okay, you will get it opened, and not that if you open it like this using a file processing application, you cannot actually see the structure of that, what that data is. And after that, getting down to this statement, which is what we wanted to understand, which is a function that you can use to read an array of elements from a file. Here again you have to pass the address of the array, size of each element, number of elements to be read, and the pointer to the file handle. Okay, the same structure, and if you read it, you will get this field. Not that whatever be the sequence of elements written onto this file, you can read it back using a single statement. Okay, coming to the last statement, which is fclose. So the file will be closed. Here again it must be file X. And with this, now let us proceed and look at the formal syntax of fread. The syntax is this: the file name, the function name fread. The first argument is the array address, followed by the size of each element, followed by the number of elements that you are going to read. Suppose you have written say 100 elements and you are reading only 3 elements, you can pass 3 as the argument here. And finally, from which file you are going to read. Okay, so actually for use, these two are very simple and easy to use, but it's powerful because using a very single statement in your program, you can write an entire array into the file, into whichever file you want, and using a single function you can also read. And now I am giving you exercise problems for you to understand how you can utilize fread and fwrite for writing a useful program in C. And before that examples, let me just recollect the different types of files that we have studied. Basically, data files can be classified into stream oriented and system oriented. Don't worry about these two. Stream oriented is again classified into text files and unformatted files. Actually, no need to remember all these things. If you look at all these operations, including the formatted operations fscanf and fprintf and all these operations, then the files that you are going to deal with using all these functions are classified as just text files. And if you are using fread or fwrite, then you're going to call them unformatted text files. Okay. Then you may ask me a question, then suppose you are using getc and fwrite, so what you can do? You can decide what you have to call. Okay, anyway, you can just say text files which are system oriented, sorry, stream oriented, and you have also an option for system oriented file that we have not discussed in this course, and they are closely related to operating system, and you need to have a separate set of functions to operate on system oriented file, and which is out of scope. And I just wanted to recollect which all functions we have looked at. Okay, other than that, it's not so important. And with this, we are finishing this lecture, and I'm giving you two practice problems. Okay, write a menu driven program which process a text file. You can read this offline and implement it. And one more programming exercise I am giving you. This is exactly the same exercise that I have given in lecture 34, I think, maybe 34 or 33. And the only difference here is that you store it in an unformatted file. So use fread and fwrite. When we did it in L33 or 34, we have not used any file. So the data will be lost the moment you finish executing the program. So here you try using files and see what is the advantage of using files in your program. So with this, we are finishing this lecture, and also we are finishing the last lecture of the course, programming in C. And I hope the sequence of lectures that I shared helped you to learn the basics of C programming language. Thank you.